Unfortunately, we don't have much of the Lochiel neighborhood remaining. We do still have the Lochiel Hotel here, which back during the Lochiel neighborhood days, this was actually a school. So right behind me is the location of the Lochiel rolling mill. Right back there, there's an empty lot where the housing units used to be. They called it Lochiel Row. And majority of the workers that worked at this plant here lived back in that housing development. Now, when the train crashed down here, it actually blew out the windows at most of the houses in the Lochiel development there. But the people in that development really came through on this occasion. They ended up grabbing blankets and running to the aid of the victims on this train crash. They were the first ones on scene since it happened just right up from their housing development. But you can probably see the train tracks right behind me here. Those aren't the Pennsylvania Railroad tracks. The Pennsylvania Railroad tracks ran along the Susquehanna River on the other side of that area. It's interesting to see that a lot of the old iron bridges you see on the old 1900s maps are still here. It appears to be part of the rail trail, but it's closed down for some reason. So on May 11th, 1905, at 1:38 a.m., there was a car navigating the Harrisburg yards. A 64-car freighter tried to slam on its brakes to avoid hitting this car in the yards. So when he hit the brakes, 34 cars behind the engine, the car tilted to the side over into the westbound tracks. When the express came through, he initially thought he could clear this car. The main engine made it past that and a couple of the other cars, but the first Pullman struck that car, igniting an explosion. It was later determined that that tilting car was filled with blasting powder en route to Columbia, to a company down there. Survivors described those trains catching fire simultaneously all the way down the line. The engineer of that train was found on the banks of the Susquehanna River right over there. But the passengers of that train were still half asleep. They had no idea what was going on. They woke up to this chaos. So down below me here, you can see where the Paxton Creek flows under the railroad tracks. And you can see on the old insurance maps that the Lochiel rolling mill would have been located right on the other side of that Paxton Creek inlet, which puts Lochiel Row slightly further down the tracks there. The May 11 Star Independent indicates the smash and explosion occurred only a short distance below the plant of the Paxton Electric Company, the center being possibly 100 yards south of the building. Half that distance north stands Lochiel Row. So the river is about 100 yards away from the location of the crash site. So the Pennsylvania Railroad and the engineers of the breaking train were exonerated of any blame for this accident. It basically came down to the fact that some of the trains had handbrakes and some of the trains had the air brakes. The Pennsylvania Railroad did put this memorial in place in Paxton Cemetery for the 5 unidentified bodies. Newspapers indicated that 3 of those bodies were never found. In fact, the newspaper reporter indicated that they were blown to atoms. But the Pennsylvania Railroad claimed that they did add their names to this memorial, but I don't see any names on the memorial. Records indicate that the average payout to the families of the victims was $250.